Our tenant, the policeman. Damn that girl.
And without anger, a long...
A bullet? You didn't put it there, did you?
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good... Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl. As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear. She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. What?
She seems genuinely worried about her
That's for the police to find out. Right then, please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we...
How would I know? She's a...
You could ask her about your hunch. That it was a...
Do tell. Exit from what?
The lieutenant stops writing for a moment.
No, she's a fighter.
Not a quitter. Like you, she really believes that.
Yes, early with the door, I cleaned it. Like, no.
The truth.
She's good company. Knows how to talk to an...
Did she talk to you much during her last stay?
No, she tried not to let it... I don't know. Further up the coast, she tried to leave quietly, but
It's a peninsula.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the...
I wouldn't worry about that, man. We are persistent.
Yes, it's going to be too much work for you to find her. Better for you to stay here, get enough...
The Feld electric mural. You feel like you should go look at it again. Step closer this time.
One thing, officer. If you do find...
She really means...
She's a good girl.
Hello again.
A slogan used it above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls. Feld Electrical. Feld Electrical. You only know them as a small company. There's something in the wind.
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there, or in that boat.
Why single out this one building? Even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down.
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most, and then there's the church. We've already searched that, and anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole...
Trying to talk to the wind. The city is trying to talk to the city, something a prayer of sorts.
Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk. Suddenly, there's a sigh in through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase.
She's down there.
Okay. Why? Right. How do we get in there?
Finally, my time to shine.
Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old.
There has to be a way to use brute. A rusty ladder.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what? 3 meters? Not to mention that the roof is collapsed. What if you were to reconceptualize climbing? Astral projection.
Teleportation is not a thing. This really has nothing to do. Oh yes, it could hurt. A lot.
On second, because you're just standing there squeezing your buttocks and nothing.
You're not.
The rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. Now that you've acquired some stim, you raise the peptide bottle. Press one nostril closed. Now the taste is slowly receding into your throat. And, whoa, time for a little truth. Tell the lieutenant you did some. Clear the air. Springs. The rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. All you need to do is close your eyes. Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle. It's like,
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
bam! You find yourself on the roof.
I just saw you climb the ladder. You just climbed it like a regular person.
No, not like a regular person. The wind at the top of the building.
Never mind. Find a way to let me in.
Two rusty metal plates that slide.
What do you mean, who's there? It's...
The doors.
I hope no... After you climbed up to the roof, you mean? There's a maintenance entrance under the boardwalk. It's next to a
He's quite proud of himself.
Yes, yes. It's cool to risk your life climbing rickety ladders. Anyway, let's investigate this.
A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazing.
Some radical or radicals were hiding of half a century. This was probably part of... I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce... We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history.
Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good.
Millions of depictions of Mazov have been produced. You mean like Ruby?
Years worth. Someone crouches. Could this does look like an outside the window.
It's a great place to hide. And Mazovianism and murder, indeed. No one could get a clear view. Well, at least... In fact, I think we're done with this bunker.
There it is again.
No, what do you mean? I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back there. No, but you are the sensitive one.
It's not a quib.
Looks like our suspect. Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do? We'll set in motion events.
You will upset the balance of power in Martinaise. The deadlock between the company and the Union will destabilize. Keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail.
I leave that to your judgment. You already know what I think about cross-pollinating information like this.
He just can't be sure. Maybe it will yield something useful.
You think we should finish running it now? Maybe you're right. It might not.
It's a minor point. Don't worry too much about this. There are bigger fish.
Definitely. I think she knows something about the mercenaries, maybe. And she won't be around if the situation explodes. You mean Morel? I don't see how cryptozoology and the
If it gets that tense, the amateur zoologists might not be able to do their job.
Well, we are not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire...
If you can't predict it,
I think I see a cavern. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been careful enough.
I wouldn't be so sure. You haven't exactly...
Or maybe not. Either way, once...
to stop.
Everything's me?
This man probably comes from
Very good.
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man. I don't want to talk about that.
This guy knows Ruby, no doubt. Just play dumb for now. Get everything out of him you can.
Man, I was hoping it isn't going to be her. All I can say is, she isn't around here anymore. She isn't some evil drug trafficker. And I don't know where she is. I didn't, man. I told you, I was hoping.
He still is. Hoping. It's true. We would have caught a lie. Bah. Emotion.
Thank God I don't know. A friend? An acquaintance. A youngish woman. Gruff, but blue and violet.
What color hair?
Then she may have dyed it again. Maybe she dyed it red.
Damn, I don't want to. Please just let it go. Whatever she did, it can't be that.
We can't just let it go. It's part of a police investigation.
That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation.
It won't come to that. We won't pursue her on this. This is information only.
I don't believe you. She's got the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over.
She shared this with...
Yes. Which is why I don't want to snitch on her. It's snitching, man. I know what it is. I heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked. And she told me, too, that she's had a...
Did this violent life include drug trafficking?
Well, it looks like it did now. But we didn't talk about that. We talked about life, you know? She talked about her mind. Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay? There are...
He's right. There are other options. Wait, this guy says they're friends. Then, acquaintances. Push Tommy and it will break his heart. And his spirit. Now is not the time to focus on feelings. You need that info, son.
Fine. I don't want to be a butcher. And I don't want to be a knight either. I just want to be a person who can sleep at night. A little fame wouldn't hurt too. You're not going to put a bullet in your head if you blow it, are you?
I wouldn't be so... Imagine it. An explosion of stars. Goodbye.
I thought you were a different kind of cop.
The realization that you've used his friendliness and goodwill. Remember, you're doing it for the bigger investigation.
Here.
The keys to a motor lorry.
Her lorry's still here. Down past the statue of Philippe. The cabin is green.
When did she leave?
Last Friday. No. I don't know. She left them to me. Because she trusted me. So I can get it out of the...
The other drivers would have to tow it or break in to get the machines moving.
If they break in, they would find what's hidden inside.
I bet you are.
And he's sorry he couldn't be what he...
Nah, I
This is the one our man pointed to.
You push the key into the lock. The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's something odd about the passengers. These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s. But one of them particularly catches your eye. A centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat. There's definitely perfume in the air. The remnants of a sweet juniper scented the actresses. It looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least.
It has to be an advanced model to fit so many frequencies next to each other without blending them together.
For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave, UW and UKV. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation.
A 20-kilometer radius at least. The ghostly actresses. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here. A hammer, a pair of pliers, but one odd detail does catch your eye. Sandpaper adds extra grip.
Sandpaper? Yes?
Do the honor.
Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. At least we can now ask Titus some concrete questions about it.
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. Voila, a stack.
Bonne prise.
This large map displays the elevated motorway called 881. The intake leading to Martinez is marked with a blue X. There's another X on the off-ramp at a place called the Old South. Toll booths at the intakes are there. Hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar. This municipal, no storm will ever. Wind rips. The final map displays a labyrinth of these service tunnels were despite the cold, they travel from eminent domain to perdition and onto the main, over the River Esperance. On Route 8, the road spreads like the tentacles of a great octopus. Looks like the smugglers have infiltrated the road network belonging to East Motor Tract.
So it would. The RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads. It's definitely not the Union. They just do some logistics. This operation has spread everywhere in Jamrock. If it's his bad news, there have been attempts at a serious investigation before, but they...
Lieutenant Kitsuragi is a brave man for saying Madre's name without the winces and whispers that you... Especially bad news.
Hard to say. This distribution, the Besmerti is a Revacholian crime syndicate. They see themselves as the inheritors of the 14 Revacholian Indo-tribes, but really they're just violent gangs vying for control. With cool names, like La Puta Madre. Best not to disturb the scene.
The stack of maps looks just like before. A metallic drawer slides out from... It's an issue of... It looks like these formulas look oddly painful. Maybe it's the hangover, but they give you a headache.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
The pull-out tool closed.
Great. I think... Alright, we've finished here. Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems... I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect.
This means
I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect.
Listening in on your calls between you and your station, a worrying prospect.
Oh, and the maps we found. They reveal the geographical extent of the operation. Looks like they've used abandoned tunnel. And last but not least, it's Ruby's cabin we found. This is an undeniable connection to the Union. As...
Don't be fooled.
Yes, what...
Unimportant.
One way or another, they seem to be. Logistically, if nothing else. But don't expect to... We should return to the murder case. See what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narcotics department. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation. Sometime later. The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. All the same, I don't... Debrief over.
The Coppernado is back. What do you want? Yeah? What? The what now?
She said she's...
What?
We were talking about...
This guy barely...
There you have it. Hell something. Anything else? Like hell, you...
We'll do that. We know Ruby was the driver. We know that's your affiliation with her. Detective, you want to deliver the coup de grâce? Thank you.
That's a mighty interesting theory.
Yeah, man. Theoretically,
You would need good, trustworthy people to take their place. Boo fucking who? People will...
yeah. That's what the...
Theoretically, of course. We're just talking politics here. You sure do love long...
He's practically saying yes.
Thank you for
Her smile is...
Morel still isn't feeling well. I convinced him to stay at Gary's to get some rest. I'm afraid the cold has really gotten to him. Yes.
Her voice is shaky. What is going on?
Morel will eventually, or we'll talk Gary.
The lieutenant stares at his shoe, caked in mud. He doesn't say anything.
That really
Very strange.
different? How? I'm in doubt, sweetie. That's all. It's a strange feeling. Do you ever want...
Hunching her shoulders now.
Seeing the Insulindian fat, Morel's so proud of it.
A terrible sting in the heart. Regret.
No, sweetie. There's more to it than that. That I'm some queen of the cryptozoologists. That. But now, we're both getting old and he's still working himself.
The lieutenant opens his notebook, but doesn't write anything. But it has a tape.
Might be right. I was a
She has to swallow to relax her throat. It's keeping her from talking.
Maybe. What you have to know is the insulin...
Are there? Some of the other things are pretty bad.
A true...
Rising.
Either way, I should go. Oh no, thank you, but I can get there on my own. This old thing is gas-powered. And then attack.
Really?
Oh, sweetie. Please don't get stuck on a dream. Take it from me and Maria, okay?
A sigh. She doesn't think you'll need it.
You're welcome, sweetie.
A waste of time. A dream, a fool like that. She drives off. The gas station enters quietly as she gets to the doors, then pushes them open. Outside,
We should go to...
somewhere out there, a kilometer to... The dented yellow mailbox. Shelves full of biographies of
A true cultural...
shelves filled to the brim with crime novels.
Oh, you're a police officer.
Your attempt to grasp at the answer failed. Crime fiction. These books, what's not a single shelves filled. This bookstore. A small mountain of colorful.
Wonderful, if you say so. Lousy, I've heard they...
The display. This is entirely.
Oh yes, sir. It is a bestseller.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here?
Because you know each other. She's been talking to you.
Yes, I used to stand out there all the time. Before Mother, you've been running around all week without your shirt on, sir. Telling people about being a star or something. Of course, you stopped by a few times. You certainly look better than the last time I saw you. Yeah, I can see. You don't have
Party eyes. Yes, of course. That makes sense.
I'm not
You know, like a cat in the dark.
The swiveling eyes of. Good thing she didn't say party eye. Fuck yeah. You should get some party eyes right now. Snap those sequins on you. Oh baby, that's not what you have to worry about.
I'm glad I could help you, sir.
Hello again. I don't believe...
The bemusement.
There'll never be Skull. Thank you for passing on the message. Now...
Until you come up with something at that intersection, I'm glad to hear of. No. We asked East Motor Track to... This is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue. Thousands of liters of roaring...
A cold breath rushes in from the bay, making its way down.
A lot of it. It comes in from large Samaran factories in South Safre, Sigai, and Sinyao. The literage they must get from this terminal alone.
Why
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kiss.
She simply nods.
That's the man who was better not...
She wants to answer the question.
Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered? It doesn't really matter, and I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this.
One of the tall...
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it.
She's trying to conceal her excitement.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder,
The words bloodbath sound cold in her mouth. They taste of...
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail. They were dispatched.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor. Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. He was taken out behind the whirl. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their orders, for now. It's a smokescreen.
What is the nature of this so-called...
Whether to execute one, some.
It will be all of them. The decision is already made.
It was the Union who strung him from that tree. My hope is that you provide a single concrete suspect before Crenell indiscriminately. If you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and...
The Debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's 2nd largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
These men work in tandem using semi- and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath. Too many things have already gone wrong. Lieutenant W. Freighter Dubois. All we can do is keep that which is not from following not much. They boast a long list of clients.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors. Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, man?
In my line of work, it pays to do. I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it. The remaining contract, that the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
This does not come as news to us, but still. To your knowledge, where did this assault take place, if you know?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Good. Then you've made progress. If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him.
You don't know how you know. It's not written on her face, nor in her voice, but she had sympathy for this man.
Lely, his service name, and not. He was 40 or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age or gauge his facial expressions.
This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body, and Classier also mentioned it, I believe. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian maybe.
Occidental. That...
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For what, they don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens...
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbor gates. The one chanting the other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick...
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant.
Your concern may be appearances.
That would afford a good vantage point. In any case, It's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them if
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover. I hope I can answer it better. Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider it's a matter of days, not weeks. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask. Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about half a minute, she wears fingerless gloves.
It was taken with a Triget not long ago. This...
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependent... I can't. Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die.
Where is he now?
The times have changed. Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Preto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Preto, he sailed to the Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder.
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
I can't. This man...
In Martinez, looking into Krenel, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside, there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter.
That makes sense to me.
For all the boys looking for an adventure.
His platoon members? The other contract.
It could go this or the other. Surely there are other people to ask about the tattoo. This is not necessary. Challenge accepted. I say we do it.
Do what you have to do, Detective Dubois. I don't...
We will be careful, ma'am.
Is there anything else? Waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards. Unfortunately, the fact guns are expensive from time to time. Some went to patch their guess.
If it is
gone.
The harbour seawall endures the...
To the waves. He didn't now before...
She really liked those muscles, though. It's in the way she pronounces sinewy.
Us working folk, life didn't really change that much.
This is... She looks like she's ready to go on a date with another, better, drunk. Ask her. Both of you could need...
Oh, really? A lot of stuff. Oh, there's plenty missing.
Oh yes, she does. You need to get your drink on. There is no other way for human beings to procreate. Not after 6,000 years of yeast cultivation-based mating rituals.
Okay. Where's this going?
absurdly and pointedly phrased. You can be quite funny off.
She doesn't even understand.
Oh, very good. That will one universal die for one.
It feels icy. Shelves filled to the brim with... Shelves filled to the brim with... Shelves filled to the brim with crumb. Your quick eye. A worn paperback. Could it be the motifs of unstable identities? Then this is the book for you.
Of course.
Shelves full of browsing through. Suddenly, high-speed next to the...
I'm...
His neck muscles tense up. It just has to be said. That was not a convincing line.
Fucking bug.
You hear a tiny rattle. A small... I'm going to interpret that as a yes. There's a tribunal.
How about you fuck off now, huh?
Okay, of course.
There could be weapons aiming at us right now. Somewhere, the man's breathing steadies, but his eyes are still narrow. It's hard to do that when you
don't think so.
Suddenly, this feels like a really, really bad idea. Silence. Hard as a stone, you see dead flesh in
fucking loincloths. Really did him in. What it means.
In what must have been.
I can tell you what this one means. Only one. You want to hear what happened here? Our colonel is deep in the bush here. Deep in the fucking bush.
Manaito is one of the inhabited islands of the Seminoles archipelago.
He spent a month behind enemy lines, scouting kept villages.
With some strange emotion. This is about to get real.
Our boy, he's only a captain then, but he knows how these men think. At dawn, he comes upon 2 kids, breeding. We shot the boy. He was useless, but the girl, she was nice. A little fat, you know, but not too old. She was quite the entertainment for the week she lasted, expired in the hands of soft God. Mason drowned in a creek a week later.
Something stirs. The story must have stirred up some conflicting emotions. There's a word on the tip of your tongue. Colorless, odorless. It's...
You bet it was. It's just nature. This guy, he used to say, no. I was in the domain, in Jamrock, being a bouncer. Go ahead.
All right now. Free commerce! Keep the goods flowing!
On the photo in your hands.
The unpromising race pupil returns.
I think
that will be the...
He will grant...
You should keep him close. The unpromising race pupil... Racist.
Well, the drawings are precise and look true to their pseudo-scientific ambitions. One thing, however, it is not entirely free of throat...
That added...
Babe, thanks. But I got this. Racist.
Welcome. He must... The drawings are precise and look true to their pseudo...
You exhibit it is impossible. This leads me to your racial hair.
He's right there. It's all...
There is not... I cannot possibly imagine.
Hola, Wandering Man.
Right to work! Free flow!
Don't talk to the man's... It's hard to do that when you...
Looking for...
The tear machine, your bottles. You see several packaged raincoats fill a low...
Oh, look.
Gnarled hawthorn tree en route.
Our tenant, what more do you want to know? Not that I, although I guess,
She may simply have kept the equipment elsewhere.
yes, let.
The bed is comforting. Tiles on the cube. The speaker.
Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? Good. Still good. Fortress accident? Yes.
She repeats back.
I work at...
On an island, doesn't it get lonely?
Now. Thank you.
Tiles on the cube are...
I was just thinking, what a nice day for questions. I was just thinking.
Soft, light brown. I have bad news for you. You know these guys? Who? Me. Yes, you. You too. Me? What did I? These guys are compromised. She's got them singing along to her tune. Believe it. There's no way of knowing. All bullshit, man. Especially that. No fucking way, man. I just want to drag. Really? Quick. Tell glory, truth, softness. I take it back. He's got it pretty bad. But this next, she likes you. The crown head is a boring condom. He's jealous. How it always does. There's nothing you can do about it. No, it's better to know you're being played than to... I think it's safe to assume, in his defense, to reduce him to such... That is correct. A little. But when it comes to assessments of character and factual accuracy, they are not to be good. The less paranoid option. A light green speck, and you can't draw a sound conclusion. She may want to control the information rollout. See? Don't worry. It's only been 4 or 5 seconds. You've got this. For a second, her face disappears from your cornea. Only a silvery, still smiling, a tired smile.
Officer?
We are still wide awake and staring into an archipelago of truths. Scandalous Gosh, be careful. It looks like this one's not waking up. You'll have to do it without...
Sure. The record. So official.
She looks chipped.
Pretty. Looks like a dry... Why was there flat?
She looked chipped.
Pretty. All right.
Yes, miss. All right.
Coolly, gracefully.
Okay.
She nods, silently. Then...
Yeah? I did not.
It's possible.
She keeps looking at the door with a worried expression.
A peephole? You mean like a hole in the wall?
Yes, looking into your bedroom.
Okay.
A jitter of fear and...
Do you think this is somehow connected to me? Okay. Do you have any...
Unfortunately, no. But if I were to guess long enough, the
Shit. I don't know. I'll be fucking covering it up with a lot of tape, that's for sure. Was there anything... Huh.
She feels like quarry, encircled. Her eyes dart to the door.
Okay.
She's lost in thought. Eyes narrowed, forehead furrowed.
Yeah. The contamination spreads from a room. For me, it's a mix of me. Talk around the establishment is, you have an industrial sad. That's where it always comes from, isn't it? From the... Sounds like an advanced form of what I've got. With a bit of old love sprinkled on top. Love is terror.
Sheer terror, panic and screaming.
All right.
Who? What? Dear Lord, you've been lied to. She could have killed her lover and lied to everyone. She probably didn't give you her real name either. Why would she? Take it easy. Don't overcompensate with this. Yes, start at the top. See?
I agree. You wouldn't give us your real name. Not when...
Okay. Okay, it's not. You log your work every week. It's all transmitted to Common, sir. I couldn't just beg you. Like I lied before. Like I did at LCSB. I have to lie all the time. I'm so tired of it. It's Katarzyna Lazie.
It's a Grad name. Jimsk or Yugograd. It also makes Glazia almost an acronym for Katarzyna Alazia.
My parents were Zhimsk immigrants, but I'm national. It was a sentimental thing.
A nickname. Who gave you this nickname, Glazia?
A teenage boy. 1,000,000 years ago.
She nods. Her round eyes meet yours. They seem moist from the wind on the roof.
No. It's submerged in a plastic bowl.
Falsified documents?
Passport and visa. Given to...
Why would they do that?
I didn't show up to a rendezvous. They don't take that lightly.
She fears an arrest right here.
West of the boardwalk. In the reeds. On the coast there. I put it there when I first arrived. Haven't been there since. It's useless.
The wind rises. Long, spindly arms are spinning.
Nothing is useless.
The lieutenant makes a note of it.
You're welcome to it. It's
She nods, her back straight, ready for whatever is next.
I did. What is this? I called your desk or whatever it is. The numbers are all over town. Call 8-100-2 for emergencies. There was an older woman on the other end.
That is the emergencies desk number. Anyone could know that, sire. By
what time did you make the call?
Thursday night. It was late.
It checks out.
She stands before you, holding her back very straight.
There may be grounds here. At least.
A little whimper. The young woman hears you.
What?
Her hand trembles. She's only pretending she didn't hear you say, devil woman.
But I haven't done anything. Anything illegal.
She purposefully fucking mind. That's right, gang. Stern and merciless now. Stern and merciless as we reel her in. The lieutenant produces a pair of handcuffs.
Please, no.
But there's no way.
I think I know who did it. Who shot Lely. I can tell you. I can help you.
She's silent for a second, as if looking into herself. Gearing up for this betrayal is hard for her.
Ruby. She has this thing for me, ever since I met her and the boys downstairs. She's been pretty frank.
What she's saying is... sex?
Sex. And more. I made the mistake of confiding in her. I told her I was on the... When I started spending time with Lely, she told me to end it. Said there would be shit if I didn't. It was...
I don't understand. What exactly in your relationship made you think she's romantic?
She said she's in love with me. She even asked me to run away with her when I told her I'm a fugitive. She started developing...
And you led her on?
A little. I was flattered, you know? But then I had to let her off, and it was not easy. I came to regret being friends.
This is just an assumption.
I know what it sounds like. That's why I didn't want to tell you before. Somehow, she knew Lely was dead. She wasn't surprised at all. When we came up here, she was calm as a stone, too. She cleaned it all up.
This is a familiar theory. You had it too, remember? Could it be that Ruby... Yet again, you're coming up with this. The worst thing is, it may be true.
She came over one night, drunk, said she'd turn my life into a... And she's a pro. She must be. To keep the Hardys in...
Some of that fear is still with her. What are you talking about? She's afraid you'll arrest her.
You said there was a secret route there, right? She could have come up through there, then taken the shot.
Then slipped back downstairs without anyone noticing.
Interesting theory. Did she know that door exists? Had you...
Yes. She's been up here many times. She used to come to drink on the roof when, the peephole. My bed is right next to... She would have seen us.
You mean to suggest she...
No. No. Why would she do that to herself?
She's not really sure. It was right above the bed. She could have seen all. Don't let your imagination run wild here, sire. Keep okay and arrest the liar. Why? She told us some pretty. She's stuck here. She's already in prison. Look around. She's only trying to help you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Something tells you, you will. She nods, then nervously pulls on her.
Okay.
You are. This is not the end of.
Again? I can't believe this shit.
Yes? What is it?
Again? I can't.
You think you have a pretty hot suspect right now, don't you? That ruby of yours? Notice how it came together without casting too much suspicion on Clasia. Did anything strike you a bit off about this mishmash? Absolutely. It could have come from anywhere, but you're suddenly so. No, they didn't. Notice how this hasn't come up at all. Even Hardy and his boys didn't mention it. That's right. Finish thought. Don't listen to this guy. The theory was solid.
Waves are beginning to die down. Look at them.
The poor!
Yes, what is it? What?
She has not seen her, sire. 'Tis
You're asking me to circuit bend onto coalition radio frequencies. The main difficulty will be finding an antenna.
She's not joking. Even the RC.
I highly doubt it. That tower is barely... I don't see any alternative. We're just going to have to build the antenna ourselves. Not the sort of antenna we need metal. A lot of it. The taller the structure, the better. Something that it... Yes, what is it?
Close your eyes. The wind pushes a piece of tear across the cracked tiles. Your eye from behind you, beyond. The voice again. Just a moment. You turn around. The morning sun is blinding. You bring your hand to your brow, and a great shadow materializes before you. A towering beast, frozen in mid-air.
The dead king and his horse.
It may work, you think.
We'll need an adequate power supply and a great quantity of cable. If we connect the cables to some of the...
Whatever ambivalence she had about your project before, she's now fully...
Quiet. I'm doing maths. It's completely ridiculous, but I believe we...
A note of awe in her voice.
Your sense of style isn't my concern. I'm only here to tell you I have plenty of cables and amplifiers on hand. The power supply, I cannot answer that for you. But if you have real to spare, you might even be able to buy it.
And before you ask, no, you can't have the radio from my kinema.
Absolutely not. My reign prefect is my livelihood, certainly. Though it requires a fair amount of technical finesse to remove them. Frankly, it's not worth... That sounds like a perfectly adequate radio. In the meantime, I will gather the rest of the materials. We will meet back here.
Hello again.
metal and...
That over there.
Ooh. Hidden thick, cold, air, tendons. Snapped the cords, keeping the boy in place. A lift moves across the water, leaving no traces. Your cold splendor. The boy is not tied to anything. The number 11 has been written on the yellow plastic.
Simple construction.
There's something in there. Splashing a shot glass's worth of seawater pours out.
Well done. I have no idea. Or think we do. This is a small loose end, either way. Not important, I hope. Might have been Glacier, might have been the people after her, might have been a local drunk.
You could ask the miss what she...
We still got here to...
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. It's like...
I know you can't say it.
As she says the word officer, you feel a spike in the agony. No, but don't focus on the pain. Focus on doing your job. Tell her she's under arrest.
No, I'm using...
The it blast...
Saw my... A pale signal...
Sounds like...
So precise at the upper limit.
She likes telling you about...
The pale? Oh, the pale? The pale? The pale? It's the end of the world. You're big... God, fine.
She's well. There's a be careful when you make it.
I heard so you...
Her tone is bitter. She thinks she's been betrayed. That's her admitting that...
Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? Oh, but she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How the fuck did the rest of you get by?
A strong moral compass.
Plenty of broken people who don't...
I hate that she didn't hate it.
You think I...
See her confident.
I'm listening. Man, I was... You mean the length of a... Look, fuck...
She's speaking.
Wow. Now I'm curious. Please, don't know it. The shot...
That didn't go super well. You've got...
I considered her a good friend. Oh, that's a very... Okay,
Class.
She does know... She I knew that...
No ill will there. It wasn't a problem for her.
Yeah, I was a little worried she'd blow it out of proportion in her head. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
And mine too, he thinks. But keep on. This must be done.
No. If I never did understand why, so now I'm...
Was that?
No, I did not. Who doesn't? It's very powerful. Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, yeah?
More. More questions before doing anything. The compressor lies broken on its side. It's quiet in your head again.
Oh, fuck it. Problem.
Ma'am!
Oh, yes, it is.
She's truly, you know. This is how you talk her out of it. It's the only... She stared gratitude. Her neck and shoulders relax, and her grip on the gun loosens.
Day of mirror.
She runs past you, then past the lieutenant, and disappears into the darkness.
Good call. I would have done the same, had I known her tent.
The plane, it was... The tent, it reeks of cigarettes. Assorted soft...
Seeing it?
Rager Monthly. Journal of... You pocket the war... A trusted friend.
We should read this immediately.
A thick journal. It's made of full grain. Schneller is a stationer. She's got good taste. The journal falls open. The large cursive, or perhaps too confidently. It's a mix of logistical...
It's good.
Hard to tell exactly.
There could be useful information.
Esoteric radio technology. Short, wry observations of people and places. The first entry is from August 2nd of last year. Nothing on March 4th. March 5th, though, well, that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this. She is referring to betraying the most even when I leave here.
I just don't think she killed a mercenary. It's mostly a gut feeling, though, since we let her walk out without hearing her side of the story. Glacia was the one who pointed the finger at Ruby. Perhaps she was trying to steer us away from herself, or... maybe she had an... One thing is for certain. We had...